Let's start a new chapter. Name of the chapter is New Questions and Ideas. Students, you may be surprised in history new questions and ideas. Yes, whenever any new question come to your mind and we become anxious to solve those questions. In the process of solution of those questions, something new come into existence. Something new take birth. And same thing happened in the 6th century BC India. Now let's see what were those circumstances and what were those new questions. These new questions were about the mysteries of life. What happened after death? These were the primary questions which were disturbing the number of people, great thinker, and the solution of those questions brought something new. And the subject matter of our study of this lesson is based on this only. Now, what were the circumstances of 6th century BC India? India of that time was passing through a rapid change. New cities were developing, great changes were noticed in the socio-political life of the people. Elaborate sacrifices, ceremonies, rituals, and the social differences made the life of the people clumsy, and they wanted to come out of those. And this made the thinker to find out the true meaning of the life, which resulted in the appearance of new religious philosophies in the form of Upanishads, Buddhism, and Jainism. So, students, in this lesson, we are going to study about this Buddhism, Jainism, and Upanishad. So, let's start with Upanishad. Upanishad. Upanishad means sitting near. Here in this picture, you can see Shishya is sitting near a guru. Upanishad, which are the part of later Vedic literature, later Vedic text, literally means approaching or sitting near the guru. Why sitting near the guru? To to get the answer of their question, to solve the curiosity. And these discussions between the gurus and shishyas in the form of dialogue brought many new ideas, and these ideas got placed in the Upanishadic text. According to the Upanishadic thinkers, there are only two permanent things in the universe: the Atman, that is the individual soul, and the Brahman, that is the universal soul. Atma means all of we have studied so many kahanis of Atma, no? That Atma, the Upanishadic thinker, they believed in Atma. Atma, something is there which we cannot see, we cannot, uh, abstract idea. But they believe that after our death, this Atma exists. There is no death and birth of Atma. Atma exists. And this Atma get blended with Brahma, that is the universal soul. That is, there is no difference between universal soul and individual soul. Atma and Brahma were one according to the Upanishadic thinker. Most of the Upanishadic thinkers were men. Not only the men, but the men who belong to the upper classes, like those of Brahmins and the Rajas. However, we have some of the Upanishadic thinker who belong to lower class even. And most important name among these were Satyakama Jabala, who was born to a slave mother. We have great Upanishadic woman thinker who is famous in history as Gargi. Now next we'll start Buddhism. You have studied a lot about Buddhism. Now just we'll rapidly go through once Buddhism. The founder of Buddhism was Siddhartha, who was also known as Gautama, about 2500 years ago. He born in a Kshatriya family. You have studied in the previous lessons, no? Gana, Shangha, all this. He born in a Gana known as Shaikya Gana, who was ruling in a small area known as Kapilavastu in present days Nepal. As we have discussed, he born in a royal family, but royal pleasure of the royal household could not satisfy him because he want to know the truth of the life. And to know the truth of the life, in search of knowledge, he wandered for several years, meeting the great personalities, great thinkers, holding discussion with them, but nothing could satisfy him. And ultimately, he meditated under a pipal tree in Gaya, in Bihar, which is famous as Bodh Gaya nowadays. And after a long period of meditation, he ultimately attained enlightenment. That is, he got the light of knowledge. And henceforward, he was known as Gautam Buddha. That is, Buddha means the wise one, full of knowledge, and rest of his life he spent preaching this newfound knowledge till he passed away in Kusinara. His first sermon, that is the first religious teaching, was in Sharanatha, a place near Varanasi. Now we'll be discussing his important teachings. The Four Noble Truths. According to Gautam Buddha, there are four truths in our life. Life is full of suffering. Many a time you have studied that life is not full of roses, bed of roses. Yes, he also believed that life is full of suffering. All of we have some cause or other for this suffering. You want a good iPod, you could not get suffering. You want to get the first position in the class. If not, you suffer. You want to watch your favorite TV show, your mother did not allow cause of suffering. So we have lots of causes for suffering. And what are these causes? Causes we have desire. We keep the desire, our desire are not fulfilled, we suffer. So simple task what to do? Remove the desire. Then there will be no suffering. And how to remove the desire? By follow a middle path, moderation in everything, nothing extreme. Another important teaching of Gautam Buddha was he taught the people to be kind and respect the lives of others, including animals. He had a very soft corner for the animals even, and he stopped, prohibited the slaughter or the killing of animals. He believed result of karma, that is, if we do good work, we'll get good result. If we do bad work, then our result will be definitely bad. So, suppose if we update your tasks, you are sincere in your study, result will be good in the examination. If you escape that, definitely you will suffer. So this is a simple example that our karma or action is bound to give us result. Last, I'll conclude with that Gautam Buddha preached or taught in the language of the common people, that is in Prakrit. And here we'll stop for today. Thank you.